Begin with the Goodman trial, as lawyers for both the prosecution and the defense spent the day trying to find 6 jurors and alternates for this trial that is already making national headlines.
The attorneys and the judge want to know how much media coverage, ongoing for 2 years now, involving this case will have an impact on those potential jurors and what they've seen or read. News Channel 5's Jay Cashmere will lead our coverage of the trial, and he begins that coverage outside of the Palm Beach County Courthouse with more on today's developments. Jay?
Michael Kelly, this is a case being watched around the country. It has finally begun. The case against polo mogul John Goodman. Jury selection began early this morning at 8:30 and is wrapping up as we speak. We know now we will continue a portion of jury selection tomorrow before this official trial begins. This is a case that was born out of a tragedy 2 years ago, specifically on the night of February 12, 2010, at a dark intersection in Wellington. That is where 23-year-old Scott Patrick Wilson lost his life. The man on trial, John Goodman, a man who built an empire in Wellington with international polo. Did John Goodman contribute to Wilson's death when he allegedly ran that stop sign, plowing into Wilson's car, sending it into a canal? That is the question 6 men and women will answer at the end of this trial, deciding whether or not John Goodman will spend 30 years behind bars, either convicting him of DUI manslaughter, vehicular homicide, or not guilty at all. News Channel 5's Alex Sands is covering this case with us. He continues our live coverage from the other side of the courthouse. Alex was there in the media room today as the cross-examination of potential jurors underwent heavy scrutiny. He joins us now live with more on that angle. Alex.
And as you know, Jay, finding the right 6 people of this is key, and that is what much of this day was spent on. Also got a sense early on of once this trial starts, what jurors may see in the courtroom. 80 potential jurors, question after question about bias.
Anybody have strong feelings that they might not be able to set aside?
Much of the focus was on months of intense media coverage, how much of it they'd seen. Had it swayed their opinion? Did they think John Goodman was guilty? Nearly a dozen potential jurors were gone by late morning.
Now, you said that you heard something about the DUI.
Prosecutors contend John Goodman was driving drunk the night Scott Wilson was killed. Moments before the start of jury selection, the judge handed prosecutors a victory and a defeat. Yes, jurors can see post-accident photos of Scott Wilson. Yes, they can see the actual cars involved in the crash. They won't, however, hear allegations of John Goodman using cocaine. And so, jury selection continues. If John Goodman is found guilty, he could spend some 30 years in prison. This trial, once it begins, Jay, it could run for some 2 weeks here in Palm Beach County.
Alex Sands continuing our live coverage from the Palm Beach County Courthouse this evening. Alex, thank you very much. We want to welcome in News Channel 5 legal analyst Michelle Suskauer, who continues our team coverage. Alex spoke of some of the pretrial motions that were brought forth today to Judge Colbath. Which ones were most important, and what was a victory for the prosecution and defense?
Well, it was a mixed bag because the judge went, gave a little bit to one side, a little bit to the other side. For the defense, they really wanted to keep out any mention that hydrocodone was found in John Goodman's blood, and that's going to come in, and the jury's going to be able to do with it what they will. However, the state's not going to be able to mention anything about cocaine or alleged cocaine use because there's really no proof of that. It was just a statement that is really hearsay. So that was kind of a mixed bag. And then in terms of the civil settlement, right now, there's really not going to be any mention of any civil settlement. So that's a win for the state. Actually, the state wanted to keep that out.
Roy Black brought in today that change of venue. I know that was an important topic today. It got shot down, correct?
That's right. Obviously, there's no change of venue because the venue is right here in Palm Beach County. But because there was that, this is still, though, an issue that if John Goodman is convicted, this will come back on appeal because there has been significant coverage.
Let's talk about that. The jurors were pounded today from cross-examination and questioning because of the pretrial publicity. How much of a factor is that going to weigh into the potential jury that we see, those 6 men and women?
Well, you know, it's challenging. It's challenging to pick a jury, and then it's challenging to keep this jury away from the media, because this is a jury that is not going to be sequestered, a jury that's going to go home to their families and is going to have to stay away from their questions by their families. What kind of case are you on? What is it about? And all kinds of media coverage regarding this case, because obviously there is plenty of media coverage. But there were questions about the pretrial publicity, what they've read, and how much they know in terms of details. And we heard a lot of jurors knew a lot of details about this accident.
They certainly did. Michelle Suskauer, thank you very much. Continuing our team coverage tonight out here. More jury selection continuing tomorrow, at least for a portion of the day here, as more potential jurors are cross-examined in this case against John Goodman, which got underway today with jury selection. We'll toss it back to the studio.